Hello and welcome to the Early Talk course. My name is Viv and I work for the Hertfordshire Family Centre service. And I'm so glad that you've been able to join me on the Early Talk course today, where we're going to learn together so much about the way that our children communicate and ways in which we can help them in their speech. Usually this course you'd be coming into our centres to do, but we can't do that at the moment, so we're delivering it to you instead online. But the content is going to be the same. So this first week I'm going to be talking to you about the ways that children learn to talk and learn to communicate. And it's like an information week. In other weeks, each week I'm going to give you different activities to try in your own home setting. And you'll be able to apply and use some of the things that I've talked to you about today to all the other weeks. So this is a different week. This is the information week, but it's really important because it's a really good background for us to take on board, to us to hear, to us to learn before we start doing all the activities that we're going to show you in all the other weeks. I want to start by us thinking about what communication is. And I'm going to act out a scenario for you, and I want you to try and work out what I'm trying to communicate to you or say to you in this scenario. I'm not going to speak, I'm just going to act it out. I'll do it once more. I was saying in that little piece of drama that I was thirsty and I'd like a drink and I'd like one sugar in my drink. Now you may have got bits of that and understood bits of it, or you may have understood all of it, but hopefully you got the general idea that I was thirsty and I needed a drink. It's very much like that when children are learning to communicate. They show us a lot of what they want to say to us by indicating, by non-verbal communication. And it's so wonderful to be showing children that we understand that we acknowledge that they're trying to communicate to us, and that we show them that we really want to understand what they're trying to say, even though they're not speaking. And we praise them for their attempts to do that. Because only 7%, so a tiny, tiny part of our communication is actually words. 38% is in our tone of voice, which is about a third, so a third is our tone of voice. And 55% is, just over half, is non-verbal. Our expressions, our body language, a bit like the scenario that I was just trying to act out to you then. And this is with children, it's really important to remember. So although your child may not be saying too many words yet, they may be trying to communicate with us through actions, through body language, through pointing at things. And the first step is to start to recognise this and to talk back to them when they do this and to praise them. And that's a really, really key thing to do. Right, we're going to look at how children learn to talk and the building blocks. We're going to look at the order that things happen, but as I go through this order, I'd really like you to remember that although there's an order, all the stages overlap. So a child doesn't have to finish stage 1 before it can go to stage 2. It's the order with which things happen, but they will continually keep happening all the way through all of them. So there is an overlap even though they're in stages. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there. So we start with the first building block, which is listening. And I've got a little purple block that I'm going to put on my cushion to represent listening, attention and listening. It's so important that your child needs to learn to listen and to give their attention. And we also need to listen to them and give our attention to them. It is through attention and listening and being attentive that they will start to learn language. They need to listen to sounds. They need to hear people talking around them and talking to them. And as that attention and listening develops, so too will their knowledge of language and words start to form in their brains. So that's the first stage, attention and listening. The second stage is play and interaction. And I've got a little yellow block that I'm going to put on there because play's fun, so I've used a bright colour. Play and interaction. Play is child's work. It's how they learn. They learn so much through play. It can be play with us, play with others and other children, and also play with toys. But they're learning so much through play, and us saying the words, us talking through the play, it's just fantastic for their brains. So starting to play and interact, and for you to play and interact with your child is a key process in this early talk. The next stage is understanding. And please remember again, I'll say it again, that these do all overlap with each other as well. So we have understanding. They need to hear a word so many times before they can actually understand what the word means. So for example, the word ball. They need to hear, every time you see a ball, they need to hear you say, there's a ball. And if they're reaching out, would you like the ball? And oh look, there's a ball. And oh look, another ball. And there's the ball. We keep saying the word over and over again, because the more we do that, the more the children understand that the word ball refers to this round object. And they will really start to realise that collection of sounds, ball, refers to this. So it's the understanding before they can say the word. Similarly with train, you could be going train or choo-choo, and they will need to understand that word train or that sound choo-choo refers to one of these, a train, before they can start saying the word. So understanding is the next step. The next one is expressive sounds, and I've written down talking, but it's expressive sounds. So a child will start babbling, and I'm going to use a blue block for that. A child will start babbling and going mama, 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 da, 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 and really be starting to make lots of different sounds with their mouth, and different things will become, they'll be pointing at things and babbling away to us and trying to imitate our talking, or perhaps our singing as well. And this is really important and wonderful. And when they start doing that, it's so great to engage with them and say, yes, I know, and show them that you're listening, so that if they start to make those expressive sounds, that's beginnings of talking, that we recognise that and we want to join in the conversation. And you can have great little conversations with a child, with them babbling and saying different things. You're, yes, that's right. Great, yes, I know. And it is just a fantastic way to encourage a child's speech. And the last building block that comes is actually the speech sounds. And I'm hoping my tower is going to stay. Oh, it's going to tip. Is it going to stay? Yes, I made it stay. Is the speech sounds. Although this may be the first thing that you notice, is actually the last thing that a child's brain will actually concentrate on. It is common for children to make frequent mistakes. So please don't worry. A child may call a ball a ball, or a train a tr, or mum a mum, or a cat a tat, and say slightly some of the words wrong, or a hug, a gug, all different sounds. They're starting to experiment with the sounds. It's their brain working out, and it's their pronunciation might not always be great, but the important thing here, our role here, is to praise them, to try and understand them, and just to not correct them and say, no, not that way. It's not a tat, it's a cat. Just say, yes, it's a cat. And we repeat the word back correctly, but in a praising way, so that they will start to hear the correct pronunciation, but still be encouraged and know that it's great when they try to make these speech sounds. And just a reminder that all those stages in this tower overlap.